Ryan? Good morning. Wow. This is fantastic. Yeah, did I hear some applause? Give yourself some applause. Welcome, and welcome to you who are online watching us. We have almost to the limits sanctuary this morning based on our established 50%. So it's great to have you with us. It's great to have you with us this morning. We have some folks out on the pavilion. There's Michael, wave out there. Good to see you. My name is Tony Fisher. I am so delighted to serve this congregation as your minister. Welcome. As always, I'm grateful for your presence. I'm grateful to have Daniel Goodsid in the AV room with John Forsyth just watching. I'm grateful to have Abby and Sean Allison here, our co-music directors. I'm just so excited to see you all here. And I am very excited to welcome Ryan Bladich, who's here to give us the rest of the welcome.
Good morning, and welcome to the Unitarian Universalist Congregation of Greater Naples. Whether you're here in the sanctuary or watching us on Facebook Live at home or on the pavilion, we're glad that you've joined us. We're no less grateful if you found us another time and watched the recorded service on Facebook or YouTube. My name is Ryan Bladich, and I've been coming to this congregation and taking part in the religious exploration program for 5 years at this point. I'm currently a sophomore at Barron Collier. Our mission here is, our mission statement here that was developed by the congregation over 7 years ago, states, we are a welcoming congregation, freely seeking intellectual and spiritual growth. We may strive to create a larger community of peace, justice, and love. Here we learn and grow together, and we try to live our lives, our values, and put those out in the world. If you found us online for the first time, we also hope that you email our administrator at office@uunaples.org so that we can include you in our regular email news blasts. That way we can let you know about our hopes for gathering again in person and also about the upcoming learning and fellowship opportunities here at UCGN. Now let's settle ourselves into this time of worship with the morning prelude.
With humility and courage born of our history, we are called as Unitarian Universalists to build the beloved community, where all souls are welcomed as blessings and the human family lives whole and reconciled. With this vision in our hearts and minds, and as I invite Ryan to come up and light the chalice, let's join together in saying the chalice lighting response printed on the screen and in your order of service. May this flame stir our hearts and remind us of our mission, to be truly welcoming, to grow in mind and spirit, and to widen the circle of peace, justice, and love. And let's join in singing our opening hymn, Come, Come, Whoever You Are. It's number 188 in the gray hymnal, but the words will be up on the screen. We're going to do it as a round, a challenge on maybe your first day back. So this half, when we break, we'll sing it all once through. When we break, Sean will lead this half, and I will lead this half. And we'll sing it through once together and twice as a round.
Come, come, whoever you are, wanderer, worshiper, lover of leaving. Ours is no caravan of despair. Come, yet again come. Come, come, whoever you are, wanderer, worshiper, lover of leaving. Ours is no caravan of leaving. Ours is no caravan of despair. Come yet again, whoever you are, wanderer, worshiper, whoever you leaving. Ours is no caravan of leaving. Ours is no caravan of despair. Come yet again, come.
That was fantastic. You have gone and come back as a singing congregation. And the choir meets on Thursday nights, just so you know. So welcome back. It's great to have you all with us, and it's so good to see some faces I haven't seen in a long time, and I'm sure you haven't seen each other in a long time. I'm just tickled pink. Standing out there and welcoming people felt like old times, even though we had our masks on. I realized that my Naples Community Hospital mask may be a little bit daunting to people as they walk in the door. So I think I'll have to change that. Maybe put a big smile or a UU Naples on it. We'll get some group working on that. So how many are just back to Naples in the last week? Oh, so you've been holding out on us, huh? Well, just a few hands went up. All right. Well, welcome back to you. And so those of you who've been here for a while, we have been here for a few weeks in the sanctuary, but understanding that it takes a little bit of time to come back, and maybe the fact that we've been here has sort of greased the skids a little bit and got you out the door on Sunday morning. I also recognize that Sunday morning at 10 o'clock is, for those of us who are used to sitting around now in our jammies on Sunday morning, a little bit early. I come on Sunday mornings at right about sunrise, and it's a gorgeous thing to drive in, have the windows open, the air streaming through. So it's a beautiful day today for those of you who are elsewhere in the world. And we do have a lot of people who join us online from all over, from the Northeast, and some of you maybe were those people during the summer, but we have folks, at least my sisters, joining from the Northeast and the West Coast, and there's a lot of people in between. On our Facebook, we know that there's people actually from all over the world that have sort of tapped in occasionally. So the information isn't as robust as we'd like to know, but at least we know that. And so we are sort of growing to be an expansive group. How we get all those folks to sort of tap in financially as well. That's a whole other conversation. The stewardship team is gearing up, and they'll be informing you about all that down the road. But that's important too. Just talking about the wider world and how we connect with that, and as looking around primarily, mostly white, roughly middle class, maybe a little bit better, maybe sometimes a little not so comfortable. We tend to connect with the world, from our own small sort of vantage point, our own space, let's put it that way. And we go and we adventure out into difference, maybe by exploring different kinds of food, which is often both exciting and a little daunting. I remember a time when Ann and I first went to an Indian restaurant, and we looked at those little chilies next to the and Ann, thinking she, hot food, asked for the high test, and couldn't taste the food, couldn't eat it. But so there's a little danger involved in sort of experiencing difference. When we travel, we go out into the world, we enjoy that, we enjoy sort of interfacing with cultures that are different than ours, but often we find ourselves sort of carrying our container with us. We are in often comfortable places where we stay. Maybe we're on a tour, maybe we're going it alone, but often we find ourselves enclosing ourselves in the kind of things that we're used to, our own space, as I say. We carry our little box around us, and we learn, we grow. There's some adventure, there's maybe even some danger involved in that, but we, in general, are in control of that experience. And that, I think, is an interesting place for us to start this service, that our experiencing difference is not quite the same as engaging difference. And that's what we're going to talk about a little bit later on. So let's deepen ourselves even a little bit more this morning and join in singing our centering hymn, number 86, if you're opening your hymnals, Blessed Spirit of My Life by Unitarian Shelley Jackson Denham. And Sean will lead us in singing 2 verses of this song.
Blessed Spirit of my life, give me strength through stress and strife. Help me live with dignity. Let me know serenity. Fill me with a vision. Clear my mind of fear and confusion. When my thoughts roll restlessly, let peace find a home in me. Spirit of great mystery, hear the still small voice in me. Help me live my wordless creed as I comfort those in need. Fill me with compassion. Let the source of my intuition. Then when life is done for me, let love be my legacy.
So here's our time for joys and sorrows, and if you've been watching us online, you know that we're not quite yet doing our sort of the older routine of my coming out and offering the microphone. Hopefully we'll get back to that sometime soon. But this time I want to know, I know we have one birthday in the sanctuary this morning, so in the spirit of joys, I know Ralph Ryback is here, one of our sort of every once in a while visitors. Ralph, good to see you. And happy birthday. How many other birthdays do we have this week in the sanctuary? Oh, that's impossible. Oh, wait. Jay Colcroft is got a birthday. Happy birthday, Jay. We're not going to sing, don't worry. Anniversaries? Any anniversaries this week? Where?
Both our kids have birthdays this week.
Oh, both your kids have birthdays. All right. All right, that's wonderful. Well, I hope you celebrated. All right. So joys are some things that keep us going often, and yet they sort of balance those things that we struggle with, those things that we live with every day. So if you have a sorrow that you're holding, a name, or even a phrase that you would like to put out there as something that you're holding a concern for, I invite you to speak that out out loud in this space, knowing that you have loving hearts to receive it. And online, I hope you will do the same. Often speaking and verbalizing a name helps us sort of move some energy out into the world, and hopefully we will hear it as well. So as I move my hand across the sanctuary, I hope you'll speak whatever you're feeling, and we'll all hold that together. So joys and sorrows. Thank you. Knowing that there are many, both joys and sorrows, that remain unspoken, we light a candle of community. Again, our hearts open to both those things that lift us up and that sort of catch our breath. Let's join together in the spirit of meditation. Spirit of life and love, God of our deepest understanding. Our galaxy is one little speck among trillions of little specks in the universe. Like the lines on a zebra or the human fingerprint, no two galaxies appear exactly alike. Within those galaxies, there are various solar systems and planets and many suns, each with different dimensions. We live in an expansive and diverse universe. But you don't have to go to outer space to learn that lesson. Right here on Earth, there are millions, species of all types, animals, insects, trees, plants, sea creatures. There's fresh and salt water, blue water, green water, Arctic and tropic climates. And then there are the people. All the people, all types of people, with varying languages and customs. Life is a beautiful, beautiful assortment. We have so much to celebrate. Let's share some silence together. Our reading this morning is by the Reverend Dr. Kiyama Raman. Now is the time to call on the memories of the ancestors who thought they could not walk another step toward freedom, and yet they did. It is that time and place to call on the memories of the ancestors who, when the darkness of their lives threatened to take away the hope and light, reached a little deeper and prayed yet another prayer. It is that time and place to remember those who came through the long night to witness another sunrise. It's that time and place to remember the oceans of tears shed to deliver us to this time, to remember the bent knees and bowed backs, to remember the fervent voices asking, begging, and beseeching for loved ones sold off. Time to remember their laughter and joy, though they had far less, and little reason for optimism, yet they stayed on the path toward a better day. Time to hold to the steadfast hands and hearts and prayers of the ancestors who have brought us this far. Time to make them proud and show them and ourselves that what we are made of. Time to show them that their prayers and sacrifices and lives were not in vain and did not go unnoticed, nor have they been forgotten. Did you not know that this day would come? Did you not know that we would have to change places? Did you not know that just as our ancestors were delivered, that you would also be delivered? Have you not seen the greatness and power of the creative energy in the universe that some call God, and moves and has us being through human agency? Have you not seen God in your neighbors' faces, in the homeless, in the battered woman, the trafficked child, the undocumented worker, the dispossessed? It is that time and that place to know that it is our turn, that we must leave a legacy for our children and all the children. It is that time and place. We are the ones we've been waiting for. For that, let us be eternally grateful.
This moment, sign and space, and take my friends around. Here among us, make the place where your love is found. Take my talents, take my skills, take what's yet to be. Let my life be yours, and yet let it still be me.
We live in a land that is racially, religiously, and culturally diverse, where people express that diversity in the ways they think, the values and assumptions they hold, the ways they express themselves in art, and the way they behave when they're together and where they're engaged in the wider world. Despite what anyone may say or hope, ours is a multicultural society, and lest we forget, it was that way even before white Europeans arrived on this continent, where there was a wonderful array of indigenous cultures spread across this land. It's true that since we arrived, white Western Europeans of Protestant background who migrated to this continent after the age of exploration have ruled the roost using the twin concepts of the doctrine of discovery and manifest destiny to push across the continent, eliminate or subjugate the natives, lay claim as the dominant culture. But as we've learned, the first of the African slaves arrived at Jamestown in 1619. The first Jewish resident in North America arrived at Jamestown 2 years later in 1621. Catholics settled the mid-Atlantic region and represented almost 10% of the population of Maryland in 1634. And 150 years later, Prince Estabrook, a black slave, stood with the Minutemen on Lexington Green in 1775 and was wounded in the first volley from the British. And by that time, 20% of the population of the colonies was of African descent, though living in slavery. The question really never has been whether we are a multicultural society, but whether, how much, and how quickly the dominant culture, the dominant class, expect people to assimilate to our norms or just stay out of the way. Today, multiculturalism is the subtext for almost every dialogue that we have as a nation. Whether we're talking about COVID or Black Lives Matter or the criminal justice system or Islamophobia, immigration or political correctness, terrorism or economic reform. Much of the tension today runs along the line of our many racial, religious, class, or cultural lines. And as such, we are in a heightened state of anxiety. COVID has only exacerbated the underlying sense of frustration, anxiety, and maybe fear that many in this country feel. Part of that is that we maybe have a sense that we've lost control. We've begun to see that the dominant narrative can't hold. And that can be pretty frightening. Unitarian Universalist ideals speak to the positive value of a diverse world. From our first principle, respect for the dignity and worth of every person, to the sixth principle, the goal of world community with peace, liberty, and justice for all, recognizing through our seventh principle, respect for the interdependent web of all existence of which we are a part, that there is even greater strength and unity that can transcend our valued differences. Because we strongly believe in religious freedom, we honor the plurality of faiths that exist in the world, accepting that all the challenge of interfaith cooperation begin with us. We believe that there's strength in diversity and that the creative spirit flows from many, many perspectives. That if ever the beloved community is to be realized here on earth, it will not be when everybody begins to think and act alike, but when we begin to love alike. For the longest time, a good part of our internal UU marketing is that we have a vital message for the world. And this idea has been reinforced by outside observers as well, from Thomas Jefferson to the present day, who think we might just have a good thing going. In 1992, Diana Eck, the highly respected and honored scholar of religious studies and former head of the Pluralism Project at Harvard, wrote, "If there ever were a time that we need to spin out a new fabric of belonging and a wider sense of we for the human community, it is certainly now. Developing a consciousness of our growing religious interrelatedness, developing a moral compass that will give us guidance in the years ahead, these are certainly among the most important tasks of our time. You, Unitarian Universalists, have a theological orientation towards the oneness and mystery of God that is essential for the world of religious difference in which we live. You are, in my estimation, the church of the new millennium. In this era, Unitarian Universalism is not the lowest common denominator, but the highest common calling." And even as we puff ourselves up with these words and our potential to be the most dangerous faith in America, in her words, we look around us and see clearly that we have not lived up to the potential others have seen in us because we haven't yet lived into the essence of our faith or our calling. In a society that is growing more and more racially and culturally diverse, our own demographic has, for the most part, remained unchanged over the last 200 years, except perhaps, as with many mainline Protestant faiths, that the median age of our members is rising. That is true across the nation. The Unitarian Universalist Association has been struggling for years to address its own lack of diversity, often ineffectively. In the same year that Diana Eck was giving Unitarian Universalists her powerful message and challenge, our association was owning up to the fact, 1992, that it still had institutional issues around race and diversity. An internal assessment made the following observations. While honoring the fact that many Unitarian Universalists had provided important leadership in the integrating our religious communities, it was still quite true that in our congregations, white culture is considered to be the norm, and people of color are expected to assimilate to this culture. They noted that the focus of much of our justice work is on the victims of racism and not the oppressors that benefit from racism, and they offered as a solution that our congregations put greater focus on the power and privilege that white people have in our racist society. We note with very little comfort that this language is echoed quite clearly in the most recent 2020 self-assessment of our relationship with diversity, published in a book form by the UUA as Widening the Circle. It is still the work we need to do to grow our hearts, to grow our faith, and to build a wider community of peace, justice, and love. Our mission. If we can't do this work, if we are too stuck in our ways to change, then it's reasonable to ask whether this traditionally white association can survive and be relevant in a world that is increasingly multicultural. The good news today is that our national organization has taken this work, the Widening the Circle work, very seriously, and it's begun to affect change at the institutional level, not without friction. And along with the Unitarian Universalist Ministers Association has provided ministers with solid educational opportunities to shift themselves in the hopes that we, in turn, can be effective change agents in our congregations. And it is in our congregations and in individuals within our congregations that change needs to take place if we want to live into our values and into our potential. Of course, the first question that you or I have to answer is, are we willing? And for the most part, I know that the answer is yes. And yes, we are doing wonderful things. And there's no doubt about that. But are we carrying our container with us as we go? Our container of control. This isn't easy stuff. John T. Cresswell, who I offered a meditation this morning, isn't so sure that we're really willing. As a member of a panel on Black Lives Matter at General Assembly a few years back, this African-American Unitarian Universalist minister said that he really no longer trusted the rhetoric. He would believe our public statements of conscience only when he saw consistent and continuing action to back them up. Rosemary Bray McNatt, the wonderful, incredible writer and president of Starr King School for the Ministry, professor of Unitarian Universalist Ministry and Heritage, writes, "What I know about being inclusive, crossing from culture to culture, learning the language of diversity, is that it's the work of a lifetime. It's hard to accept people who are not like you, who don't talk the way you do or believe the things you believe, dress or vote as you do. It's even harder to appreciate them for the things about them that are not like you, to find them interesting and fun, to enjoy the learning that's part of that engagement, and to acknowledge finally that you may just have to agree to disagree. Hard as diversity is, it is our most important task, she writes. And embracing this challenge is the heart of what it means to be human and Unitarian Universalist. For me, I have come to recognize that change has to begin here. And for me, it has been a very slow process. It can't happen on my terms or within my comfort zone. I have to move constantly and push myself beyond. In the poem The Great Wagon by Jalal ad-Din Muhammad Rumi, whose words were adapted by Lynn Unger for this morning's opening hymn, I find continuing challenge and encouragement. Rumi's poem goes like this. Maybe you've heard this. Out beyond ideas of wrongdoing and right doing, there is a field. I'll meet you there. When the soul lies down in that grass, the world is too full to ask about ideas, language, even the phrase each other. Doesn't make any sense. The breeze at dawn has secrets to tell you. Don't go back to sleep. You must ask for what you really want. Don't go back to sleep. People are going back and forth across the doorsill where the two worlds touch. The door is round and open. Don't go back to sleep. Or, in the words of Kiyama Raman, it is that time and place for us to move. We are so good at pursuing intellectual growth. It is the hallmark of this congregation. But for religion to be significant, it has to be more, and it has to provide more than the comforts of community. It also has to provide opportunities for deepening, for spiritual growth, and for breaking down the false images and stereotypes that we all hold and that divide us and hurt us all. For us to live into our possibilities, we must open mind and heart to the real diversity in our world. For our work as liberal religious people is not to maintain our control, our little comfort zones as part of the dominant culture, but rather to find ways to supersede ourselves, to grow beyond our limitations and our constructed boundaries. Human beings have so much to offer each other, and yet we often forego the opportunity for true engagement. We let our own demons get in the way, whether that be privilege or prejudice or simple social anxiety or a sense of power, our intellectualism. I remember Catherine Costello's reflection last week where she told of her journey out to Immokalee to be the savior, in a way, of the children out there, knowing that she was a wonderful teacher and she could bring her gifts there. And then as she settled into that work, learning how much she had to learn and how much these children and this community had to teach her. That's engaging difference. We let our demons get in the way. But when we welcome those demons and learn from them, shifting our hostility, our fear into curiosity, then, in the words of Henry Nouwen's, fearful strangers can become wonderful guests, revealing to us the promise that they carry with them. In reality, the goal is not to increase diversity in our congregations. We will never be all things to all people, and to borrow from Diana Eck, our goal is not to be the lowest common denominator, but to exemplify the highest common calling. We live in a land that is racially, religiously, and culturally diverse, where people express that diversity in the ways that they think, the values and assumptions they hold, the ways they express themselves in art, and the ways they behave when they're together and when they engage the wider community. The goal in all our comings and goings is to break down our own constructed walls, engaging that rich world with a sense of glad curiosity, and to be generous with our love and our message of freedom. If we can do that, then we can be satisfied with the results and perhaps find that we have welcomed and made friends of former strangers. So may it be. As we take time to consider these words, and let's also take time to show our gratitude for this community and for all that it does. This morning's offering will be gratefully received. If you're online, please consider sending a contribution today. The information you need is on a screen. You can certainly go to our website and find the donate button there, or send a check to our address.
It's not that easy being green, having to spend each day the color of the leaves. When I think it could be nicer being red or yellow or gold or something much more colorful like that. It's not that easy being green. It seems you blend in with so many ordinary things, and people tend to pass you over 'cause you're not standing out like flashy sparkles on the water or stars in the sky. But green is the color of spring, and green can be cool and friendly like, and green can be big like an ocean, or important like a mountain, or tall like a tree. When green is all there is to be, it could make you wonder why. But why wonder, why wonder? I am green and it'll do fine. It's beautiful. And I think it's what I want to be.
I love that song. So we take this time after the offering to share some of the announcements briefly about things that are going on in the congregation. You obviously all know that the sanctuary is reopened, so we don't have to do that. The committee, I think, needs to meet again to make sure that we're following all the various guidelines. We want to make sure everybody is safe. The good news this week is that following the service, there is coffee and tea available, and hot water available outside. No food yet, but you are invited to engage on the pavilion for refreshment and in your own way, in your own sense of comfort. Please be welcome to do that. Mindful Monday takes its turn this week. A presentation by Dr. Anna Pushkin-Shevin of the Growing Climate Solutions program here in Collier County. And her program title tells the whole story. Excuse me, can we talk about climate? Again, the RE program would like your help, and believe it or not, you have talents that you could bring to our RE community. It could be as easy as bringing a snack and welcoming children on a Sunday morning and then coming down to the sanctuary. It could be participating once or twice in the classroom, just as a second adult, maybe taking some photos as you go. And so please check in with Stephanie St. John, our new religious education coordinator, to see what you might be able to do. Trust me, each of you has something to bring to our kids to help us raise them to the kind of people we want to inhabit this world. To continue with our RE sort of community, on Friday night, the 29th of October, we'll have our annual Fall Fest, which is pumpkin carving, and you all are invited to bring a pumpkin and to carve it. I mean, when was the last time you did that? And wouldn't you love to do that again? Come on and join the kids and the families and have a good time. There'll even be a story, I believe, afterwards, so you can sit around the circle and listen. Chalice circles, our small group ministry, inviting 6 to 8 people to meet on a regular basis to share a little bit more deeply, to reflect without judgment or the concerns of sort of heavy discussion. Those things will be starting up in November, and El Di Gasparo will be out on the just outside where the greeters were as you came in, and she'll be taking sign-ups for our Chalice circles, which start in November. Al, any more information than that?
We're just going to have 6-month ones and 3-month ones. The 3-month ones start in January, and the 6-month ones start in November. So
Okay.
you can sign up right.
All right, so we have both 3-month and 6-month Chalice circles. The 6 months start in November, the 3 months start in January. And you online can get in touch with the office to sign up for those as well. Choir, some great voices out there. So maybe this break gives you the opportunity to say, hey, maybe now's the time. And so what time on Thursdays? 6:30 on the pavilion. So come and join and have a good time. We've got some great choir leaders, and I think the target is sometime in November for something to happen in the sanctuary. So we'll look forward to that. Let's close our service by singing hymn number 6, Just as Long as I Have Breath.
Just as long as I have breath, I must answer yes to life. Though with pain I made my way, still with hope I meet each day. If they ask what I did well, tell them I said yes to life. Just as I vision last, I must answer yes to truth. In my dream and in my dark, always hold the elusive spark. If they ask what I did well, tell them I said yes to truth. Just as long as my heart beats, I must answer yes to love. Disappointment pierced me through, still I kept on loving you. If they ask what I did best, tell them I said yes to love.
Go out into the world in peace. Have courage. Hold on to what is good. Return to no person evil for evil. Strengthen the faint-hearted. Support the weak. Help the suffering. Honor all beings. And have a wonderful day. Thank you.